Do we have to report that to the IRS, or is it?
Depends on whether it's full of money or not.
Yeah.
What is this? CTE. Okay. Oh, it's a.
Make sure.
That's an interesting piece of equipment.
March 13th, Dane. Capital improvement, capital.
kind of made there, but I kind of got to thinking it's ready to
I don't
go
know.
red this year.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm glad. They're gonna be ready.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Obviously, we haven't seen him here before, other than on the front row saying we should have it.
We're good. Hey, there's a difference between.
Hi, John. How you doing?
Where are we on your agenda? Where are we on the agenda with
Right here.
Oh, there it is.
CTE recognition. We'll have 2 presentations and then you have the first one.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
We'd like to welcome everyone out this evening to our February board meeting. Is there something wrong with this side of the room over here? Everyone's over here, so we'll all look this direction. Our agenda is posted on each side of the room and also in the front. I never realized how bright that is until I went into the audience. You don't have to worry about seeing us because that's just kind of in the headlights, but that's pretty loud too. We have a musical presentation this evening from Roy High School. We would like to start by turning the time over to them. Just Us 5 would ask you to introduce yourselves, and when they have completed their presentation, we've asked Cameron Miller to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So, Just Us 5, we'll turn the time to you right now.
Hi, I'm Spencer Park.
I'm M. Corey.
I'm Riley Anderson.
I'm Marcy Danes.
And I'm Cameron Miller.
And we're from Roy High School, and we're all members of Roy's Chamber Choir and Royal Choir. And we're really excited to sing for you guys today. And we kind of started this group, it was before Christmas, and Riley had the idea to just have like a quintet, and we all thought that would be so much fun. And so we got a song together for Christmas, and we sung around at a bunch of like church parties and in Salt Lake, and it has been really fun to be with these guys, and we all love it so much. And we rehearse early mornings at school, before school, because we have so much that we have to do after school. So yeah, that's us, and we hope you enjoy. It's called A Light in the Hallway by Pentatonics.
Close your eyes, lay your head down. Now it's time to sleep. May you find great adventure as you lie and dream. If you're scared of the darkness, I will calm your fears. There's a light in the hallway, so you know I'm here. So count your blessings every day. It makes the monsters go away, and everything will be okay. You are not alone. You are right at home. Good night. Good night. You won't need me forever, but I'll still be here. We all have our nightmares, even me, my dear. From now on, if you need me, you can
and sing this song. There's a light in the hallway, burning all night long. So count your blessings every day. It makes the monsters go away, and everything will be okay. You are not alone. You are right at home. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good
All right, will you all stand and we will recite the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Have another round of applause for these fine students. Before we move into our other agenda items, first we'd like to excuse Dr. Robert Peterson this evening and also Kevin Cedarholm. And we'd like to recognize Mayor Willard Cragen with us from Roy City. Thank you. Thank you for being with us tonight. You will probably notice we're one board member short tonight. Rick Favero passed away last week, 2 weeks ago, very unexpectedly, and our hearts and prayers go out to his widow, Andrea, and her family. And we will miss him, and we certainly recognize the incredible impact that he had on the students of this district and the area of the district that he represented. And I'm sure we will have something more formal in the future to recognize his work with his family here, but we wanted to make you aware of that and ask you to think of his family in your prayers. With that, we'll move on to our agenda. Board, our first item on the calendar is the consent calendar. Do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar? Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We'll now go into our recognitions. This is the fun part of the evening. We'll start by turning the time over to Cammie Alexander.
This is a great night. I am excited and honored to present Jenny Ross for an I Love Teaching Award. You'll notice that I chose a heart theme. It's quite appropriate for us to honor Jenny in February, the month of hearts and love, because love encompasses her wherever she goes. So I'm really excited to introduce you to Jenny. And I was really excited because I got to go to my old stomping grounds. Oh, I didn't take the clicker. I got so excited to jump up here. Lakeview Elementary is in Roy, Utah, for those of you who don't know. I was super excited to go back. I spent 4 incredible years there, and one of the first smart things I did was hire Jenny Ross to teach kindergarten. And then 1 year after she worked with me, our reading specialist moved to New York. And I said to Jenny, I think you're up for it. She questioned me, didn't you, Jenny? Yeah. And I think Shirley Passy, principal back here that's doing the proud video, I think she will attest to the fact that Jenny's one of the best. So I was welcomed by this sign. I don't know how many of you board members have been introduced to the Leader in Me. Lakeview is our first Leader in Me school, which means that Franklin Covey has recognized them for teaching leadership qualities for our students. And may I just say that with people like Jenny Ross in their school, those kids are in good shape because she leads by example. So this is the part where I asked Jenny to come up. She doesn't want this, but come on up here, sis. This cute lady is a Weber State grad. She has a bachelor's degree in early childhood, and a master's degree from Weber State also, and also has her level 1 and 2 reading endorsement. She started her career at North Park Elementary as a kindergarten teacher, and has been at Lakeview ever since her move with me, which makes me super happy. So I got there just as she was getting ready to take a reading group. She wasn't too excited about having her picture taken, but we didn't really care, because this is really what Jenny is all about right here. I am amazed. It's okay, Brent cried too. This woman is phenomenal and a miracle worker with babies. Those little kindergarten students, that's like herding cats without a leash. And this woman does it magically. So to watch her with students is an amazing thing. But she has this other part of her job too, where she works with teachers. And I think everyone at Lakeview can attest to the fact that Jenny is the coach extraordinaire. She's thoughtful. In fact, we call her Socrates often. She's thoughtful, right, folks that know her? Yeah. She's thoughtful about her practice. She's well educated about her practice. She's knowledgeable, and she knows how to share that knowledge with others. So these were some words that actually came out of Shirley Passy's letter, and also among some of her colleagues, that describe why Jenny Ross should deserve the I Love Teaching Award. Loving was the first one that came. She's an advocate for children, huge advocate for children, especially her 2 own. She is passionate about education, about life, and about love. And this is a person who is a lifelong learner. She epitomizes that. She's one of the kindest, most caring, loving people I know. Represents our profession very well. So Trent, can you, I had the opportunity to just talk to a few of her colleagues, and I just want to give you snippets of what they had to say about Jenny. So Lori actually taught kindergarten with Jenny, which is nice. And then we had a very nervous Brittany Brandon. She did not like this at all, but she also nailed it with what she had to say about Jenny.
She's an amazing teacher, co-worker, and she's fabulous with our students. She always puts them first, and we love working with her.
So those are two of her colleagues that actually taught with her and whom she's coached. And this last cute lady, her daughter actually sang for you tonight, is Annette Corey, who's sitting out here in our audience. Annette used to be a Title I aide that worked under Jenny's fine leadership, and now she is the media specialist for Lakeview Elementary. So let's listen to Annette.
Hi Jenny, congratulations on winning this awesome award. You deserve it and more. You are the most talented, creative, intelligent, wonderful, kind, caring person I have ever met, and I adore you to pieces.
That's pretty great.
This is what comes for you, girl. Love ya.
So you can see that Jenny's top notch. One of the things that makes her the most famous around Lakeview Elementary is when you go to the bathroom, you're not done having her teach you because she's got toilet tips hanging right in front of you. So she's all about teaching, all about learning, all the time, even if you're in the restroom. And it doesn't matter if you're in the men's restroom or the women's, you've got a toilet tip to read. We love her for that. Jenny's not just famous among her peers, however. The kids adore her too. So if you'll clip this, this is what Mrs. Brandon's class prepared for you. Oh, we gotta go back. Turn that didn't work. There we go. I just thought they could say it so much better than I could. So Jenny, thank you and congratulations. We so appreciate all you do for our kids, all you do for our fellow teachers and Weber School District. And we love you and we know you love teaching.
Yes.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
While I go get Jenny's award, I'm going to turn the mic to Jenny. I warned her about this, but I want her to introduce her cute family who is here tonight, and anybody else that you would like to introduce.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm a little overwhelmed at the moment. I love this award because it really encompasses what I love about teaching, and I love teaching. I do find passion in everything I do, and I genuinely feel blessed every single day. Like, I'm one of those people that don't wake up and not look forward to going to work. Like, I love waking up and going to work. Because I know that we have, like, the best jobs in the world, right? We're educators, and we can influence lives, and I just feel so blessed. So thank you so much, and thank you to the board and Superintendent Stevens. Thank you. I'm humbled today. So thank you. Do you want me to have them stand up? Or? Okay. So this is my wife, Crystal, and our two kids, Abby and Noah. They go to North Ogden. So, woo, go Eagles too, right? Yes. And I'm really blessed to have some other people here, friends, and some other friends over here that have played a big role. And my family, my mom came and my sister and some nieces and nephews, if you guys want to stand up. But I didn't really tell them until today because I'm really humbled by the award. but I am grateful, and I have loved teaching since I was little, so yeah, I'm grateful. Thank you so much, Cammie.
You're the best.
Okay, moving on. Now, this next presentation, next I Love Teaching Award, is, I think, being presented by a new employee, Bill Brills. I noticed that. Anyway, we'll turn the time over to Mr. Brills at this point. Oh.
Well, hey, Superintendent Boyd,
I'm just reading the agenda.
Who typed that agenda?
I didn't.
Superintendent Boyd, it's an honor for me today to celebrate Stacy Jackson. As I talked with Stacy, I asked her, what reward do you get out of teaching? And she said, well, let me back up. She goes, I started in the junior high, but my goal was to be there 1 year, and I was out of there. And I was going to the high school to teach AP Calculus. And she said, after 1 year, I thought, I can make a bigger difference here with these young kids in concepts and foundations than I could moving on, and she hasn't left. Stacy started at North Layton Junior High, and then we got her over at Rocky Mountain Junior High. I also had an opportunity to work with her for 2 years. So Stacy, will you please come forward? This is so well deserved. So I want to start by Ms. Mibus and Mr. Lake nominated you. They're here tonight. And Ms. Mibus had some really nice things to say. She said, your positive attitude and love of mathematics and children are reflected in the outstanding quality of the program of mathematics instruction that you have maintained at Rocky Mountain Junior High. Your enthusiasm, innovativeness, and genuine concern for mathematics and education are exemplary. Your flexibility to work with students, teachers, and the public has earned you a reputation of an excellent teacher who truly cares about people. Under your leadership, the department chair, the math program at Rocky Junior High has flourished. There's programs now that include activities that meet the individual need of each child, and that's wonderful. I was in her class, and you know, you walk into a math class, it's pretty serious. These kids were moving and walking, and she was up and about, and there was laughing going on, there was peer coaching, and it was phenomenal. And these were ninth graders, so I commend you on that. She also stated that Ms. Jackson demonstrates the highest level of professionalism, your commitment and competency in your work with students and colleagues. You're a true professional, and she wants to commend you on that as well. During your time at Rocky Mountain Junior High, you have served as a cheerleading advisor, an honored advisor, an accreditation team member, school improvement team member, and then I remember when I was there, you were a standards committee chair. She goes above and beyond each and every day, so Stacy, great. I wanted to share with you guys some things that some of your students said. We'll start with Kelton Manning. She always shows us what we do wrong and goes into the deep understanding of concepts. Isabel Hansen says, if you don't understand a concept, she will always work through it for you. Dallin Brewer? She says, you're always good at helping him, and he needs help often. Kylie Dominguez says, she can make everything clear for us so we understand it. And then I talked to some of your colleagues, and this was really cool. Miss Jorgensen, who teaches English here, says, the coolest thing about Stacy is that she knows math, but she knows every student on a personal level. She knows if they like fishing. She knows if they're skaters. She knows if they're football players. She says it's amazing that she can have all those classes and know every kid and touch them. And then your math colleague, Miss Thornock, says, you will do anything to help any student succeed. And then Mr. Rippon, he was a 30-year teacher, math teacher, retired and came back, and he's back at Rocky, and this was really cool. He says, she cares about every student, and he's a real smart guy. She works very hard, and then he got quiet, and he goes, she's the stinking smartest person in the math department. So I thought, and Rod's a pretty smart guy as well. So board, audience, superintendent, Stacy Jackson, well-deserving. And one last thing, she just interviewed, she got her administrative degree and just interviewed to be an intern and did a wonderful job, Stacy. So you got a bright future, and we're proud of you. Take a minute and introduce who's with you.
Okay. I couldn't do this without a lot of mentors along the way, and I certainly feel bad for my first-year students because they were my guinea pigs, but I do love teaching, and thank you very much. With me, I have my husband, Brad Jackson, and I have my son, Colton Jackson, my mom, Verna Willie, my dad, Craig Willie, my mother-in-law, Judy Jackson, and my father-in-law, Clyde Jackson.
One thing also, have your son stand up. So when I was at Rocky, this would have been 8 years ago, early in the morning, she was always there early helping kids, and him and his little brother would be there because they'd walk over the country view once the bell rang, but they'd be in the corner playing games, wrestling, and he's carried that on. He's a wrestler for Fremont High right now and doing a heck of a job for us. So, thanks.
We'd like to thank everyone that has come to support these two wonderful teachers. We now have a presentation, Early Intervention and School Readiness, and it will be given by Rebecca Oakey and Lori Rasmussen. We'll turn the time over to them. I hope it's nothing we said.
Well, Board and Superintendent, thank you so much for the opportunity we have to present. I'd like to just introduce the people who are going to help tonight. Of course, you know Lori Rasmussen, our special ed director, Nanette Watson, who is one of our preschool teachers, and Amy Peters, who is our special ed preschool coordinator. And we're excited to share some wonderful things that we're doing with our preschool programs here in the Weber District and share some of our goals and vision for that as well. When we look at our preschool programs, it has certain things that we're trying to accomplish. One of them is to meet the needs of those individual students. And these are our youngest little children who we know have a bright future in front of them. So we want to make sure that we get to know them well and are addressing their needs. We want to develop the whole child. So you'll see as we go through our presentation that we're doing a lot of things in a lot of different areas, trying to make sure that we're addressing all of those needs. One of the big goals is to help prepare them for school, get them ready in all of those areas and in their academic performance as well. If we help them early, then we're going to reduce the remediation costs that are associated with difficulties that they may face as they enter our schools. And as we start this, we're also working to form a collaborative team right from the get-go with their parents, with their teachers, getting them familiar with the administrators at the school, with their communities and other people who can support them. So building that team of support. This is a quote that I love. This was actually one of the governor's initiatives is the early learning, and he quoted this on that as well. It's from the Center on Developing Child. Early experiences determine whether a child's developing brain architecture provides a strong or weak foundation for all future learning, behavior, and health. So what we do in those early years really has an impact all the way through and can change lives for our little ones. We have several preschool opportunities here in Weber School District. And as we were talking about this, we thought, I'm not sure that everyone knows about the preschool experiences that we have. We have a new one that we're going to talk about tonight. It's the High Quality School Readiness Program, and that's for 4-year-olds. We also have our special education preschools that are for 3- and 4-year-olds. There are some CTE programs in our high schools and Head Start, which operates through the direction of ALCAP, and those are located in 4 of our elementary schools. We're going to focus primarily on the High Quality School Readiness and the special ed tonight. So the High Quality School Readiness Expansion Grant came from last year's legislation called Senate Bill 101. And its purpose was to extend access to high quality school readiness programs for children who are economically disadvantaged. And it's for 4-year-olds only. So they have to be 4 years old. They have to qualify for free or reduced lunch, and actually it's a little beyond that. So for a family of 4, it's about $46,000 a year that they could make and still qualify. It's 200% of the federal poverty level. So it's generous in the ones that can qualify for that funding. And they also reside in our school district boundaries. The grant was a 3-year grant, and every year we have to renew it within that time frame, and it is open for expansion within those 3 years. Its funding actually is a unique funding source. It comes through workforce services, and so it's what's called Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, or TANF. And another part of that bill was to provide some scholarships for intergenerational poverty students, and that's also paid through workforce services. So we do have children on those IGP scholarships in our program as well. This was a real quick turnaround for these little programs. It was passed last year. We applied for the funding. We were awarded the funding like June 25th is when we got notification, and couldn't do anything before July 1. So July 1, we started our recruiting, our advertising, our trying to find teachers, starting to purchase materials, and we already had some locations picked out, but it was a real quick turnaround. September 1st, we were up and ready to go. So that was a real quick turnaround, and we're pretty proud of the things that have been accomplished in that short time frame. We have these 2 sites that support the High Quality School Readiness Expansion. They're at Bonneville High School, and often we wonder, do people realize that the building that's just to the west of Bonneville High School has the driver's ed as a part of it, but this section right here is where our preschools are located, and it's a really nice location with an outdoor playground and lots of parking there. We also have one that's located at Country View Elementary, so they've generously allowed us to have one of their classrooms. So we have 2 locations with this grant. They started in September, will run through May, and the average class size is about 10. So there's about 41 children because we have 2 sessions at both of these buildings. So what I wanted to do is share with you what a typical day might look like. And I've asked Nanette Watson, who's one of our lead teachers in one of these high quality classrooms, to share what a typical day is like in our preschools. This is fun for me. I get to share our preschool day with you. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. I use the early childhood, Utah Early Childhood Core Standards to start our lesson, to do with our lessons, and we have the We Can early learning curriculum that we also use for our themes and lessons. And as we go through these slides, you're going to see a lot of the activities that we do, and I just want you to note that we hit a lot of the academic areas. Even though these are going to be separated into the academic areas, nothing is just one concept at a time. That just take into consideration all that's happening for these youngest of learners. This is some pictures of my classroom, and you can see that we have environmental print all over the classroom. The charts and toys are labeled, activities are labeled, so that they can see the students. You can see that they sign in for their daily jobs. We have a reading center that's full of fiction and nonfiction that goes along with our current theme, and we're changing those out all the time for them. You can see right here we have a student that's used what he knows of his letters, alphabet, sounds, and knowledge to label the alligator that he's put in his zoo. Here we have some students learning some math concepts. You can see the little girl by the blocks. She's experimenting with balance and form and patterns. We have a dramatic play area where we've set up a pet store and we've had a grocery store. And in this, they're learning about exploring their numbers, about counting, about money, but they're also learning to take turns and work with others. And again, you can see that they've also labeled again the pet that's for sale. He's $15. Science and technology, the children we have 2 iPads in our classroom, so the children have some opportunities to use the iPads. We use the computer and we use the smart board. We have planted a flower. You can see right here, we're documenting its growth, and it is teaching us patience. We've also, students at this young age, they need to experience things. We can't just tell them, they need to experience it all. So we were learning about Arctic animals and the blubber that keeps them warm. So here we have his little hands in the ice water, and we have a blubber glove is what we've made to teach us that it keeps us a little bit warmer than if we didn't have it. Okay, social and emotional. Sorry, I have no. When I think about this part, I am so proud of these little kids and what they have learned. They have formed friendships with each other. They care about each other. They miss somebody when they're not there. But they are developing skills to understand their feelings and how to act and react appropriately. These are some examples of our visual arts that we do for creative arts. The things that you're not seeing here are the fun songs that we sing and the stories that we act out. And we do that because we know that the creative arts supports all the other academic areas. Physical development, we are moving all the time in preschool. We are up and down and all around, and we also have this time set aside for gross motor play. We have an outside facility. We also have the inside gym, and we do things in the classroom. So if you're ever feeling tired, come move with us. Health and safety. We've had a visit from a dental hygienist to talk about health. We've had some cooking experiences. We're lucky we have a kitchen in our facility that we're able to do that. We have snack time every day where we talk about healthy foods, and we're just trying to give these children some new experiences that they're maybe not getting at home. Becky talked a little bit about that these students qualify. Not everybody knew what an avocado was. So we had an avocado, and we've had plums and pears, and we're learning that fruit comes from trees and not cans. So we're doing that in our classroom during snack time.
the high school. I am lucky I'm at the Bonneville location and I'm right next to the high school, so I have these great students that get to come in and they observe in my classroom and they participate with us. They took us trick-or-treating over at the high school on Halloween. We also had a craft that we did. We got these from Home Depot. They were generous and shared them with us. We had the CTE students come over and help us build this craft, and it was a learning experience for the little children and the big kids. The other thing that I have 3 English language learners in my classroom. And when the newness of school, after the first couple of weeks of the newness of school wore off, they were showing their frustration. And I had one young man who, every time I went to pick up a book, would put his hands over his ears and start screaming and crying because he just couldn't stand the thought of listening to another story that he couldn't understand. And after some time of wondering what to do for him, I talked to the Spanish teacher over at the high school, and he sent over his student. She comes over every other day. She comes over on A days. She comes for the first 15 to 20 minutes of class. She translates for the parents. She translates for the students. It gives them that little bit of comfort, knowing that they have somebody who understands them, somebody who can listen to them, and somebody who can translate for them. We use Google Translate on our phones and other ways, but this student is just a valuable resource to us and has been a great thing. And what's great is it hasn't inhibited these students learning English. They've still been learning English and their growth is amazing. And this little boy now listens to stories, he interacts with the stories, and he's got some words and phrases that he knows in English that can get him through his day. We've had a wonderful visit from the police department, or from the fire department. And you should have seen their faces when they got to ride in that fire truck. He put them all inside and drove them around the parking lot with lights and sirens, so it kind of made their day. We also had a visit from the Weber County Sheriff's Office. He's the resource officer at Bonneville High. Deputy Ryan came and talked to us about safety and also showed us his vehicle. Family involvement. This is the heart of it for me. I love the children, but I believe that we are there for the parents as much as for the child. Most of these parents, we're their first step into the education system. And I'm there to help them and guide them through it because they've got a long path ahead of them. This fall, we did a family literacy night, and we held it at the Pleasant Valley branch of the Weber County Library. The students and parents were given a tour of the library and the facilities, and they were also did a little story time with them. But during the tour, we had parents that were just so excited about all of the resources that they were being shown, and they asked, how much does it cost to join? They were ecstatic when they found out that it was free. The librarian emailed me the next morning and told me that we had 11 library cards signed up for that night. I just feel that this is the heart of it. This is the beginning of their educational career for these little children, and if we can help them out in any way, this is a great way to do it. So anyway, thanks for your time.
Okay, thank you again for having us tonight. We appreciate your time. I'm going to talk a little bit about the special education preschools that we have in our district. So I have a lot of passions in education, and preschool is certainly one of those. I think back to when my children were young and I got my first son by lottery in the preschool that I wanted him in, and my husband was mocking me, and he said, oh, yeah, right, because if he doesn't get in the right preschool, he'll never get in the right elementary, and then what about junior high and high school and college? Anyway, so it's worked out just fine, and I am very pleased that he got into the preschool he did, and I love special ed preschool and the things we're doing in our district. So these are the places that we have special education preschool classrooms located. So at Canyon View, we have 4 preschool classrooms. We have 2 tier 2 and 2 tier 3 classrooms, and I'll explain those in a minute. At Midland, we have a preschool building that has 4 special education preschool classrooms. At Bonneville, the picture you saw before was a little bit better picture, but we have 2 special education classrooms there and 1 at Valley Elementary as well. So Tier 2 classrooms, they are self-contained classrooms where a child has an identified disability. They're run by an early childhood special education teacher. Our class sizes range between 7 and 15 kids, and those teachers teach 3 sessions a day, 4 days a week. So they have a group of kids that come 8:30 to 10:30, another group that comes 10:30 to 12:30. They get a 30-minute lunch and then 1 to 3. So they are busy, busy people. Then our Tier 3 classrooms, they are also self-contained, and kids that attend those classrooms either have autism or significant challenging behavior. They're also run by a special education early childhood teacher, and that teacher has 5 paraeducators. So the class size is 5 children, 5 paraeducators, and you can see from the photo that the kids have individual workspaces, and then the paraeducators rotate around and work with the kids one-on-one. And they do that, and those kids attend a half-a-day sessions. As they make improvements and are able to sit in chairs, engage in less challenging behavior, self-injury, then we move them into our Tier 2 classrooms as quickly as we can. Okay, so this is a little graph of kind of what our numbers have looked like over the last 5 years. So I've just highlighted last year's numbers for you to take a look at. So we typically start the year with about 250 kids. Over the course of the year, as kids who are 3 or 4 years old are identified or come into our program who have a disability, our numbers go up all year long. So last year we ended the school year with 379 students in our program. So between January and May, we anticipate adding another 100 kids with disabilities to our preschool classrooms, and that's pretty typical for a year, that we'll add 100 kids between January and May. So we're talking a little bit about inclusion, or including kids with disabilities to participate alongside typically developing peers. So inclusion is access, participation, and supports, that children with disabilities are given access to a range of experiences and provided supports they need to fully participate alongside their typical peers in general education classrooms. So that's the goal of inclusion, is bringing those groups of children together. So why would we want to do that? Well, it helps us be compliant with federal law, offer least restrictive environment, which is Part B of IDEA, as well as offering a free and appropriate public education, which includes kids of preschool age. We want to provide appropriate intervention and in some cases prevent developmental challenges and an increasing achievement gap across time. We want fewer kids retained and caught up from the very beginning, so we're not starting kindergarten behind. So we can reduce costs for school-age children by reducing the need for special education services down the road. So I have a little graph of that too, a little illustration. So if we assume that the red line is the trajectory of a typically developing student, and the blue line represents the trajectory for a student with a mild, moderate disability, if we intervene at 3 years old, you can see that the gap between the 2 lines is much more narrow than even if we wait until they're in kindergarten, where, if any of you have children, grandchildren, nieces, or nephews, you know how those early years, those kids just take off and they are learning so many things during those preschool years that if we wait until kindergarten, that gap is already quite large. Those kids are already on a path to have different educational outcomes. Okay, so what are our barriers? I just love that guy. So one of those is changing dynamics in the number and ages of children per site per year. So we can never predict where our special ed kids are going to be in preschool for a school year. So like this year, our numbers at Midland are very, very high, And last year, our numbers at Canyon View were very, very high. So it changes from year to year. And because they're not already in our system, we don't know where they're going to be from year to year. The skill development gap between age and ability when all preschool children are grouped together. So this is another challenge that we face because right now, we will have 3-year-olds just being identified with a disability, and they go into the same classroom that our 5-year-olds who are going to enter kindergarten next year have already been participating in for the last 2 years. So all of our preschoolers ages 3 to 5 are grouped together. So that's hard because even by age, those kids present different issues and a different skill set. So another challenge is the number of available classrooms, transportation challenges, which are always tough in every situation, class sizes increasing from August to June, and then finding appropriately licensed and trained teachers to provide the special education services. So here are our statistics right now. So the number of preschool-age children with disabilities who participate in environments with typically developing peers is 3%. That was as of the end of the year last year. So the state average, the current state average is 28%, and the state target is 33%. So we have a little ways to go, but we're working on it. We're trying to work using a variety of settings and grants and everything that we can do to increase our inclusion numbers. And our desire is to increase the opportunity for early learning for all students through expanding inclusive preschool opportunities in our district. And I'm going to turn the time over to Lori. Thank you so much.
So I want to thank Nanette and Amy and Becky. And so, you know, you can see there's a lot of work to be done, but I think the positive here is that we're working collaboratively, and together we'll get this done. I think next year we have plans to expand, and going forward, I can see nothing but success for these little ones. So I like, Trent, if you want to go to the next slide. I like this quote. It just gets us thinking about how important that early education is. And I think we have a great, strong team together as a district. And so we have great plans to get us right on target in the next year or two. So thank you, Board. Do you have any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. The next item is an information item, but I believe it's more of a presentation item, isn't it? For CTE month recognition.
Thank you, Board. Thank you, Superintendent, for giving us the opportunity to talk a little bit. February is recognized as CTE month. Our theme this month, and this is statewide, is rigor, relevance, and skill. February is more or less an opportunity for us to showcase some of the wonderful things that we do within the schools, not only in this state, but also nationwide. So if you think about it, a lot of our kids compete in CTSOs, which is our clubs, and they compete at the state level, and they go on to the national level, and it's amazing when you see a bunch of kids, high school kids, doing some amazing things. Day before yesterday, I was over at the OWATC, and we had the Skills USA. And these are our technical guys, our automotives and CNAs and nail techs and all that. And we had a lot of kids getting some wonderful awards. And, you know, it's the things we like to do is showcase. These kids work with some amazing educators in the schools. And, you know, I love to collaborate sometimes with Sherry, and I'm kind of smiling because she's the math whiz. And recently, about a month ago, I found out there's a thing called CTE math. And it's more or less a lot of your industry-related type skills. And these kids learn that not only in agriculture, but FACS and the engineering. And speaking of engineering, I want to bring up John Donnelly. John, would you come up here for a second, please? John is my coordinator over our engineering program. He's down at the Weber Innovation Center. And we do a lot of things to try to get students with diverse population females mainly, especially in engineering. And John has done a magnificent job, and he's going to introduce a couple of young ladies, and they're going to show you some things that I think is marvelous. And I'm going to turn the time over to John to bring them up.
Thanks, Ray. We're bringing up our all-girls robotics team. Come on up, girls, bring your stuff. So at Project Lead the Way, we have we're about 700 students this year in pre-engineering STEM type classes over at the Innovation Center. And we have 4 robotics teams. These girls have put in countless hours. They've taken the robot home to work on. They spent half their Christmas break working on this. So I want to kind of give them a little kudos for all the work they do. I'll introduce the girls real quick. First of all, our 2 team captains, we have Madison, who is also the driver, so she's responsible for a lot of winning the competitions. And then next we have Micaiah, who's the other team captain. Both of them are seniors. They were in the team last year. Micaiah is also the head programmer, so all the cool stuff it does on its own is all thanks to Micaiah. Next is Naomi. She was in the team last year as well. She's a junior over at the Innovation Center. Hope is a freshman, and somehow those last are all related, but they're cousins somehow. So they're always together. And then Brianna is one that came in just about a month ago. She came a little more often and came last competition. And so we have 5 girls on our team. Each one plays an integral role in the competition, things like that. So first of all, Micaiah's going to explain the competition this year. Every year the competition changes, and there's different roles. We couldn't bring the 12x12 field in here, so they just brought a few of the game pieces. So Micaiah will explain what the game is, and then Maddie will demonstrate how the robot works and different parts of it, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so the game this year is called Starstruck, and this one is mostly working on offense. So you have one ally with you, and in the middle of the court is a wall, and you have to throw these stars and the cubes over the wall, and the other side is split in half. So the closer part to the wall is worth 1 point for the star and 2 points for the cube, and then the farther back half is 2 points for the star and 4 points for the cube. What am I explaining? Oh, okay. So our robot it throws it over like that, and we have a claw idea that this, oh, I'm also holding the remote, so I can show you. So this claw right here goes in and out like this and can pick up the cubes and stars, and then we have this lift that allows it to throw it over the fence. I don't really want to throw these right now, but like that. Yeah, so usually we throw it over a fence, and yeah, that's how it works with the claw and the lift. And we have that little bar in the back that makes it so if we throw it really far, like we usually do, because we're driving around really fast and stuff, and it tips over, that makes it so it can't tip over. And our robot can go all the way back and all the way forward, so it doesn't really tip over. Yeah, that's how our robot works. Oh yeah. Like that. Alright, so that's the driving portion of the match. It lasts for 2 minutes, and the first 15 seconds of that is on autonomous. So the robot has to do everything on its own, and that's all programming skills. So yeah, we've put a lot of work into that. Right now there's 2 tiles you start on, so we have 1 for each side of those, and then we also have a 1-minute autonomous that runs in the skills.
So these girls have done great this year. They won't tell you this themselves, but the second competition they went to, they won the design award. The second competition? First one. They won the design competition. They were on track to win their third competition, and the alliance that they had chose kept burning out, and so they just sat there and didn't do anything. So they were a finalist that one instead. The next competition, they won the tournament. It was their worst competition ever, but they ended up winning the competition, so it worked out pretty good. They are qualified for the state tournament, and they're actually registered already. There's only, I want to say, 11 teams qualified for state so far, and they're one of them. That'll be on March 4th down in Farmington. And the last competition, they were a finalist as well. So they've done a great job this year, 3 trophies. Real quick, the 3 that haven't spoken, we'll give them just a chance. Tell us why you like being on this team, or what the Roblox has done for you, or just give us a little something.
One thing that I like, so I was on it 2 years ago, and then last year I kind of took a break, and then this year I started up, so I'm a senior. And one thing I like is, I don't know, just getting so close with, like, your teammates and, like, being able to work through the problems and like teamwork and communication, and then just fixing it if something breaks.
Okay, so this is my second year and I'm a junior, and I really like every day we come in, we all work together, we set aside time, and it's just a lot of fun to be able to try out a new idea, see if it works or not, then test it out and keep troubleshooting. It's just trial and error over and over again after each competition. And I just really like seeing what happens when we come out. Like, we'll go to competitions and we'll all get new ideas, and like people will come ask us for like ideas of ours and how we did that or why we did that. And so it's a lot of fun to be able to get new perspectives and just learn a lot about our robots and other robots too. This is my first year, and I really like it because it's a lot of problem solving, and that will help you throughout your whole life.
Do you guys have any questions for these guys?
I have one. You say this is an all-girl robot. That includes a robot? I was just wondering. I just wondered how you tell.
In today's world, it's hard to tell.
Okay.
It's named Lucy.
As you can see, these young ladies, they are a great bunch of young ladies for our district, and I do appreciate the teachers and also Mr. Donnelly for their help. And these are some of the things that we showcase for this month. And also, board, we provided you a couple bags, or well, a bag with some facts about CTE, and not only within our districts, but the state. So again, this is CTE month. If you can get out to the schools are going to do some wonderful things. If you can get out to those schools, just kind of pop in classes and, you know, do some of the math with these kids. They are amazing. So thank you very much, board. Oh, one more question.
The other thing that's wrong that needs to be reiterated, went by very quickly, was, and I had to ask again, you said 700 students go through this program. That is amazing.
800.
That is awesome.
We actually are up to 7 sections of freshmen this year, which is 155 students, and we're hoping to have 8 sections next year. We just can't keep up with the demand with the junior highs. There's probably a third that want to use it, there's not room for it. So it's growing every year.
We bring in people, and I've brought in some of my family members just to kind of tour our facility with Project Lead the Way, and they're from out of state. And they walk into some of these classes and some of the amazing things, these robots and the other things that the Project Lead the Way teaches, our aerospace, you know, our coding classes and stuff like that. We're just trying to get the numbers up. We're just trying to get involvement from a lot of female and students of diversity. And I tell you, we're really on track to get all that up. So I'm proud of the students, but also I'm proud of the teachers and what a great district we have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I've had the opportunity to go out to the Innovation High School last month, and it is incredible. I wish we had that when I was going to school. So thank you very much, and appreciate your patience. It's been kind of a longer meeting tonight. We have one more information item, board. If you'll notice that the student fee schedule is on your agenda. There will be no vote on this as the speech schedule has not changed since last year. We have a need to move into closed session according to the Utah Code. This meeting is a strategy session to discuss the character, professional competence, or physical or mental health of an individual. Board, do I have a motion to move into closed session?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded, and we would like a roll call vote. Claire?
Aye.
Aye.
We thank everyone for being here this evening, and we will adjourn and move into a closed session. Thank you.